Thanks for watching County Report this week. I'm Susan Kennedy. We begin this week with an informal meeting between council members and U.S. Senator Ben Cardin. Senator Cardin came to discuss a host of issues, including the looming fiscal cliff and where the federal government stands on one of the council's top priorities, transportation funding.
Congratulations. We're so excited that you're still our senator.
The briefing with the council was the first for the senator since being reelected last month.
Let me just put this in context of what's happening nationally.
He began his update with where things stand with the fiscal cliff and how Montgomery County would be dramatically affected if it came to fruition.
We have the fiscal cliff, which is dominating our discussion.
First of all, we have a lot of federal workers that live in Montgomery County. These types of across-the-board cuts will have a devastating impact on our federal workforce. There are a lot of private jobs here related to federal agencies. With those agencies being cut back, those private sector jobs are in jeopardy. And then, of course, the whole concept of eliminating all the tax rates, going back to the pre-Bush tax rates, that affects the taxpayers here. So they're getting hit on the tax side and are going to get hit on the reductions of support for our federal agencies and the related employment. It would be pretty devastating to Montgomery County.
Cardin said he didn't believe the fiscal cliff would hit us.
I believe we will have some way of resolving the fiscal cliff.
But in order to avoid situations like this in the future, we need to find new ways to generate revenue.
What we need to do is reach an agreement, a credible agreement, one that's balanced, that allows our nation to move forward with job growth, that reduces spending and brings in the revenue that's necessary to pay our bills.
The discussion also focused on issues here in Montgomery County. Cardin said the feds are watching transportation issues here very closely and that he will continue to fight hard for funds.
I might tell you we are looking for different funding sources. Looking long-term, the gasoline tax is not going to be adequate to fund national transportation policy programs. So we are looking for different ways to fund this, connecting it to our energy policy. We think is the most likely way, looking for revenue flows that are beneficial not only to transportation infrastructure, but to energy independence.
We are the dreamers!
We are the dreamers!
The mighty, mighty dreamers!
The mighty, mighty dreamers!
Fighting for justice!
Immigration reform was also discussed, something Council President Nancy Navarro has championed throughout her tenure here at the Council.
What about immigration
I
reform?
think I'm more optimistic about immigration reform than I've been any time in the last 4 years. It's needed. It's desperately needed.
Some of the county's top elected officials met under one roof to listen to a long list of legislative priorities drafted by the Asian, Hispanic, and African American business communities. Lorna Virgili has more on this story. Lorna?
Susan, for the 12th consecutive year, the minority business community in the county gets together in order to present this platform with 7 priorities to elected officials.
At the heart of all of those priorities is the idea that every individual in our community, in our state, and our country should have the opportunity to fulfill their God-given potential, no matter what their background, no matter what their ethnicity, no matter what hardships they faced.
The legislators were asked to take action on several minority priorities. The top items included eliminating the education gap for economically disadvantaged children and access to affordable emergency housing for families that lose their homes to foreclosure.
Well, I think it's about time. We need to push forward. A lot has been done, but there's a lot of work to be done. And so the Hispanic community is here with the African American Chamber and the Asian American Political Alliance to really push forward and come together for those issues that are so important for our communities.
Regarding affordable housing, Executive Leggett pinpointed the county's steadfast approach to the pending need.
This report and this reflection of what we've talked about in the achievements, I think, will reflect the progress that we've made. But one thing we have to rest assured is there's still progress to be made. And as Donna Edwards talked about before, we still have communities in Montgomery County where young people go to bed hungry every night. We do not have appropriate affordable housing. We have provided in the last 5 years preserved, maintained, or constructed 7,000 affordable units in Montgomery County.
Another issue of concern for the minority small business sector is more access to government grants. and a friendlier environment in the county toward small businesses.
Of the hundreds of millions of dollars that we procure in goods and services, those dollars stay within the community to support local small businesses. I want to congratulate County Executive Ike Leggett, who is an expert on procurement law. He's taught courses on that subject, and he and his General Services Department have strengthened the local small business reserve law so that millions and millions of dollars of opportunity now stay within the community. But it's very important that local small businesses register.
For County Report This Week, in Bethesda, I'm Lorna Virgili.
This week, County Executive Ike Leggett was the guest on the county's Spanish language radio show, Montgomery al Dia, or Montgomery Today. It was a year in review show about the highlights of 2012. Among them, the shopping bag tax that went into effect at the beginning of this year, the fiscal year 13 capital budget, the extension of hours for Montgomery County 311, and the affordable housing challenges we face here in Montgomery County. The executive also described transportation as the big challenge for 2013.
Well, the first priority is to make certain that we continue our efforts as it relates to sustainable budgets and to not take any steps backwards.
La primera prioridad es mantener un presupuesto sostenible y que no demos marcha atrás.
And to build on those things where we think that we've had some success in education.
Continuar construyendo en aquellos aspectos que hemos tenido éxito, como el asunto de la educación.
And public safety.
La seguridad pública.
But more importantly, address what I think is the biggest challenge before us now, that is transportation.
You can watch the entire show on County Cable Montgomery and also on our website. Pepco is asking the Public Service Commission to approve yet another rate increase that would mean an extra $7.13 per month added to the average customer's bill. 7 council members have voiced their disapproval of the request, and they are led by Councilmember Roger Berliner.
Thoughts are that Pepco's financial returns ought to parallel its performance. Its performance has not been acceptable. So the notion of giving Pepco an increase in its rate of return, the notion of giving Pepco an automatic tracker to recover dollars as they are spent as opposed to reviewing them and seeing that they're prudent, these are things that I think our people find not okay at this moment in time, and our county will fight this rate increase, and we will fight it hard.
Also this week, a briefing on the county's fiscal plan and economic indicators as planning gets underway for the upcoming budget. As Council President Nancy Navarro tells us, a balanced budget for fiscal year 14 would require a 1% reduction in overall agency spending.
In the sense that, what we heard is the unemployment rate, for example, has gone down to 4.7. It was at around 5.2 last year. I think that's really good news. We have seen that home sales have started to creep up a bit. Income tax, it's also gone up in terms of the distribution, and those are all really positive indicators. But of course, we're still waiting to see what will happen at the federal level with the impending fiscal cliff. That's going to put a lot of pressure on us. We don't know that. We don't know also at the state level what the budget will look like in terms of aid for us as well and for the schools. So there's still a lot of guarded, I think, optimism.
Coming up, some Montgomery County students get to hear from the Board of Education on issues that matter to them most.
I'm Rockville 11's Bridget Breuer. Coming up next, Annapolis comes to Rockville. We'll have the story when County Report This Week continues.
Going shopping this holiday season? Coming up with the perfect gift for everyone on your list isn't easy. It takes a lot of creativity to get the right gift for the right person. But when you find the perfect gift, don't add to your holiday stress. Be prepared when you stop to shop. You don't have to be this creative. Be sure to bring your reusable bags. Bring your bag. Fight litter.
Montgomery County 911.
I just saw a car crash.
If you ever have an emergency, be glad you're in Montgomery County. Thanks to the ambulance transport law, the county has more money to cut response times, buy new ambulances and fire engines, and hire more paramedics and firefighters. In an emergency, don't ever hesitate to call 911. If you live in Montgomery County, you will never get a bill or pay a dime. Hopefully, you'll never need to call Montgomery County Fire and Rescue, but if you do, we're there for you. Welcome back to County Report This Week. The holidays are upon us, and that means it's time for celebrations. Montgomery County Police are asking for the public's help in cracking down on alcohol-related offenses. Rebecca Innocenti from the Montgomery County Police Department is here to tell us more about what their department is doing. Rebecca, hi, thanks for being here. Tell us what's going on with the police department and cracking down on these crimes.
Sure, thanks, Susan. Well, the Alcohol Initiative section began its focus on enforcing alcohol-related offenses the day before Thanksgiving and will continue its holiday task force throughout the holiday season. But the police department wants to remind residents that they can do their part to help decrease and prevent alcohol-related offenses. First and foremost, if you think you've had too much to drink, don't get behind the wheel of a vehicle. If you can't find someone who hasn't had anything to drink to give you a ride home, please use a program called Sober Ride. It's a program with a 1-800 number, and if you call that number, a local taxi participating in the program will give you a ride home free of charge if you meet certain criteria. So again, don't get behind the wheel of a vehicle, try to find a designated driver, or use the program Sober Ride. Also, if you're driving down the road and you believe you're observing someone who's driving, perhaps under the influence of alcohol or drugs, call 911. And without putting yourself in danger, try to get as much information about that vehicle as possible. A tag number, the make and model, and the direction of travel. All these details will help the police find that vehicle quickly. And let's talk about underage drinking parties. If you have knowledge of an underage drinking party that may be occurring in the future, please call our Crime Solvers tip line or leave a tip online. You can remain anonymous. Try to give as many details about the party as possible. Time, location, anything that you think will help police investigate this party. And also, if you think you're observing a party at the present time, perhaps in your neighborhood, again, call police and try to provide as many details about that party as possible. The Alcohol Initiative section and the police department follows up on all the tips that our residents give us about alcohol-related offenses. And we truly appreciate the residents' help in trying to combat these alcohol-related offenses so that everybody can have a safe and enjoyable holiday season.
Great, that's great information. We want everybody to be safe. Thank you so much, Officer Rebecca Innocenti, Montgomery County Police. The Maryland General Assembly kicks off their 2013 legislative session in January, and the District 17 delegation recently came to Rockville to give city officials and residents an idea of what to expect.
That's right. The District 17 delegation made a presentation to Rockville's mayor and council outlining the 2013 legislative priorities for the city. Senator Jenny Forehand delivered the Maryland General Assembly's 2012 90-day report to Rockville's mayor and council. The District 17 delegation, made up of Senator Jenny Forehand and delegates Kumar Barve, Louise Simmons, and Jim Gilchrist, presented to the mayor and council updates about the upcoming session in Annapolis. Rockville's top priorities for the Maryland legislative session that runs from January 9th through April 8th include restoration of highway user revenues, legislation to allow non-sworn officers to sign off on speed camera violations, legislation to set uniform late, administrative, and flagging fees of red light and speed camera violations, and the protection of Rockville's stormwater management fee and program. The members of the District 17 delegation are hopeful for the upcoming session and are working for the residents of Rockville.
We've done a lot of hard work raising revenues, cutting spending for many, many, many years, and now Maryland is in a really good place. We're going to have a balanced budget again. We're going to have a AAA bond rating for a 52nd year in a row, and so we're in a good place fiscally. There's still a lot of things we have to do, but it's really one of the more hopeful years that we've had since the big recession started.
Hard to believe. It seems like we just ended the other one the other day, and of course, we have meetings all summer long. Maybe I'm in Annapolis 2 or 3 days a month, but I'm on the phone the rest of the day talking to constituents or staff people and thinking about what kind of things we ought to be doing for the next year.
I've been privileged to represent my neighbors in Rockville over the last 10 years. I derive a lot of good ideas, and I learn a lot from the emails and the phone calls and the people who stop me on the street from time to time who share with me their ideas. We have a wonderful community. It's educated, it's sharp, and I hope they'll keep calling. And for those who haven't called, don't think that your call is ignored. I'll respond. My colleagues will respond, and we want to hear from you.
Student representatives from many MCPS schools recently joined voices and presented the Board of Education with a point of view from their perspective. MCPS TV has the story.
How are you? More than 60 student leaders from MCPS secondary schools met with members of the Board of Education and Superintendent Starr on Thursday, December 6th to share their ideas and concerns.
And I know that the board absolutely holds a very high respect for students, absolutely cares about them. And the good thing is students are so blunt. I mean, they state what is on their mind, and that is really a good thing to be able to get as a board member.
I understand it's like and students did share their ideas. The event was organized into a small group dialogue format to allow everyone an opportunity to have their ideas heard. Board members and Dr. Starr visited the tables and listened and participated in the conversations. Students' concerns were varied.
I brought up 3 issues actually. One was related to technology.
I asked about testing.
I wanted to ask about pedestrian safety.
This opportunity is especially valuable for us and for students to be able to really have a say in these huge issues that impact us.
There are many community members. Student leaders gathered their ideas and will present the information to the board to help guide their future decision making.
And this is really our opportunity to hear what is affecting young people and to start really thinking about what are the things that we need to be doing with our budget and our priorities, which really comes before the budget, to figure out how to make sure that we're meeting the needs of the students that we serve.
This annual gathering is a great way for student leaders to impact the decisions that affect them every day. Coming up, parents of teenage drivers get some advice on rookie driving safety and celebrating education through the arts at this year's Executive Ball. We'll have the highlights when County Report This Week continues.
This season, don't let a holiday celebration become a tragedy. If you're drinking, designate a driver. If anyone in your party has had too much to drink, see that they get a ride home with someone sober or call them a taxi. If you need a ride home, call Sober Ride at 800-200-TAXI. Sober Ride will give you a free ride home up to a $30 fare. For more information on taxi service in Montgomery County, go to our website at montgomerycountymd.gov.
Welcome back to County Report. It's the social, political, and philanthropic event of the year in Montgomery County. The 27th Annual Executives Ball was held on December 9th to benefit the arts and humanities. MyMC Media's Sonia Burke reports.
Hundreds of art supporters turned out for the Montgomery County Executives Ball in Bethesda, where they helped raise thousands of dollars and where they talked about the power of the arts.
It is a great night, and it's all about the arts and humanities in Montgomery County. This is the event where people come together to not only network and have fun, but to contribute to the arts and humanities, which is incredibly important in our community.
Standing in the receiving line, along with County Executive Ike Leggett, Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley, who helped greet guests at the gala.
The arts are important on a couple of levels, and certainly one of them is education. If our kids are going to be able to compete with kids all around the world, they have to be conceptual thinkers. They have to not only understand reading and math, they also have to understand music and the arts, because that's what goes into creating a creative and innovative economy.
This year's theme, Arts Power, celebrating education through the arts. Organizers said proceeds from the ball would go to arts and humanities organizations that specifically advance arts education programs in Montgomery County.
It's just so gratifying to see how many folks in our community understand the importance of arts in education.
This is a way to show support for the incredible arts community in our county. We have dozens of wonderful arts organizations that provide true nourishment for the soul.
Arts and humanities bring culture and grace to our lives, and also they attract people here. So people come to Montgomery County and spend money and enjoy themselves, and then they want to come back.
You know, when you talk about the power of the arts, you have to think about what that means. And I think most importantly, it's driving education for young people. If you can connect them to the arts.
Organizers said the event was a success.
As of this moment, we have nearly $125,000 to donate to the arts and humanities in our county.
For County Report this week, I'm Sonia Burke reporting.
Montgomery College recently held an important workshop for parents of teenage drivers, and with teen driver-related crash statistics being as frightening as they have been in recent years, it's clear that parents could use all the help they can get. Stan Jones has our report.
According to the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, in 2010, 2,700 teens in the United States were killed and 282 teens were treated and released from emergency rooms for injuries suffered in motor vehicle accidents. These are sobering statistics that illustrate the ever-growing dangers inherent in teenage driving.
Motor vehicle crashes are the leading cause of death for U.S. teens, accounting for more than 1 in 3 injury-related deaths. The risk of motor vehicle crashes is higher among 16 to 19-year-olds than in any other groups. And per mile driven, teen drivers aged 16 to 19 are 4 times more likely than older drivers to crash.
Montgomery College, along with 4 other Maryland community colleges, Howard, Anne-Arundel, Frederick Community Colleges, and the Community College of Baltimore County, are working with the Maryland Motor Vehicle Administration to help train parents on how to supervise their teenagers while they learn.
Critical 60 is a teaching and learning system for parents to spend the 60-hour supervised required driving period usefully, and we give parents the lesson plans, we teach them how to teach, we teach them what to teach, and we give them an online resource for tracking the teaching and learning.
What we're trying to do is empower parents to play their role and play a role of coach and mentor and teacher as well, and learn the skills to help bring the individual up to speed.
The point of the seminar was to help me assess if that was appropriate for where she is and her driving skills and her judgment and her general life skills and ability.
For County Report this week in Gaithersburg, I'm Stan Jones.
When we come back, you still have time to enjoy a magical visual experience at Brookside Gardens. We'll tell you more. And do you have room in your heart and your home for this little fellow? We'll introduce you to him in our Pet of the Week segment when we return.
This message brought to you by FEMA. Home fires occur most often in winter. Keep anything that can catch fire at least 3 feet from heating equipment. And never use an oven to heat your home. Stay in the kitchen when frying, grilling, or broiling food. Turn space heaters off when you leave the room or go to bed. Make sure all vents are clear of snow and ice to allow carbon monoxide to vent outside. Have your furnace, heating system, and chimneys serviced each year by a qualified professional. Learn more at www.usfa.fema.gov.
Sign up for Montgomery College Alert today. Receive college closing, delay, and emergency information via text message and email. The service also sends important information about Montgomery County weather and traffic events. MC men's soccer star Kevin Andino has been named First Team All-American by the NJCAA. Andino, a freshman defender, also made First Team All-Maryland JUCO and helped lead the Raptors to a second-place finish in the nation this fall. MC's Cybersecurity Club's Digital Forensics team took first place at the Maryland Digital Forensics Investigation Challenge, a live-action, interactive simulation of a criminal case from beginning to end. They will now move on to the prestigious Global Cyber Olympics team competition.
Nothing says the holidays more than beautiful light displays, and for the next few weeks, our friends at Brookside Gardens will still be showcasing their Garden of Lights tour. Here's Leslie McDermott with more.
If you have been to the Garden of Lights before, then you know that this is a wildly popular event. Visitors will enjoy walking through the gardens with close to 1 million colorful lights, all shaped in imaginative displays. Everything ranging from giant flowers to animals, an 11-foot giraffe. We even have a mythical sea monster that we call Nessie. We get on average between 40 and 50,000 visitors each winter. So if you'd like to avoid some long lines and maximize your visit, I've got some tips for you. Tip number 1, come early. The gates officially open at 5:30, so be on time. My second tip is come during the week when the admission price is a little bit lower. Normally, the weekend price is $25 per carload of people, but during the week, the price goes down to $20, and the lines definitely aren't as long. And then finally, my third tip, if you'd like to really save some time, you can enjoy a light dinner here at the Garden of Lights. Our concessionaire will be selling soups, sandwiches, chilies, hot cocoa, coffee, tea, and of course some sweets. So come to the Garden of Lights and enjoy all that we have to offer. Please check our website for details at www.brooksidegardens.org.
This week in our Pet of the Week segment, Kathy Stanhope introduces us to a four-legged fellow who could bring some holiday cheer to your home.
This is Kathy Stanhope with your Pet of the Week at the Montgomery County Humane Society, and I have something very, very special today, but you have to use a little imagination. Normally we don't feature animals that have only been here a week, but this little guy came in as a stray a week ago, and he is just today available for adoption. So if you are looking for something very special, get down to the Montgomery County Humane Society on Rockville Drive in Rockville and ask for number 203. He doesn't even have a name yet. He's been here so little. He is, I believe, a purebred Yorkie. He's only about 8 or 9 months old. He is so sweet. And when I say imagination, I'm saying because he hasn't been groomed and he's actually kind of messy. I think he was living rough for a while. And he's very naughty right now, and he needs a grooming and he needs a bath, and we're going to get him that pretty soon. But he is very sweet and he's very young. This dog doesn't even weigh 5 pounds. He is a perfect dog for a couple, for an elderly person. I don't think I'd really want to put him in a family with little tiny kids. He is so little himself. He's very fragile, but he's very, very sweet, and he's very scared. He doesn't like being in the cage. He wants to go home with you. And as you can see, he's the cutest thing in the world. Imagine how good he's going to look when he's clean and he's had a good combing. He's very calm for a puppy. It's very unusual for dogs to be this calm when they're this young, and he is an exceptional little guy. So if you are looking for somebody, even an elderly person that's looking for a special animal, get down here right away. This is a find. Like I said, I think he's a purebred Yorkie. He just needs a good grooming and a good home, and he needs someone to love him, and you can do that. So come visit him at the Montgomery County Humane Society in Rockville. Give us a call at 240-773-5967 or visit him and all of our other animals at mchumane.org. Remember, we have so many other animals, not just this cute little 203 here. We have cats and dogs and rabbits and guinea pigs and hamsters and rats and mice and snakes and birds. Any animal that you are looking for, please come to the shelter first before you call a breeder or a pet store.
And finally, the council recognized 2 county educators for their accomplishments. Everett Davis of Montgomery Village Middle School was recently named Maryland Assistant Principal of the Year, and John Hammond of Montgomery College was named Maryland Professor of the Year.
It is an honor. It's a great place to work. Montgomery College has been well supported by the county, and I appreciate that. Just shows what a fabulous place it is, where the focus is really on education and on our students.
There is a quote by Malcolm X that hangs in my office, and it reads as follows: "Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today." This quote, in conjunction with the key messages, "This is important, you can do it, I won't give up on you, and effective effort leads to achievement," as well as my core values of relationships, high expectations, and persistence, serve as my guides to ensure a rigorous instructional program for all students.
Congratulations to both for their amazing accomplishments. And one final note, the County Council will now be on recess until January 14th. Well, that wraps up this edition of County Report This Week. Be sure to tune in again next week for a look at what's going on inside Montgomery County. I'm Susan Kennedy. Have a great week.